just to take back from what Mr. Nilesha said in the morning, he was saying the CFO should be the goalkeeper, and I think that's a very, very interesting insight. Okay. But now, I mean, the goalkeeper has additional tools, and that is AI. And that's the panel we're talking about, that's tech and AI and financial processes. It's the need of the hour. Uh, from traditional ways of bookkeeping, traditional ways of reporting, looking at reports in the company, now you have this technology assistant, which is there to help you with everything that you do. And that comes with its own sets of challenges as well as, the opportunities are there. Um, and to begin with, I just wanted to ask the panel here, how can AI and automation tools significantly streamline your financial processes? Obviously, it offers you better productivity, and it can ensure better use of your time as a CFO. So if you'd like to start.
Thank you. Thank you, Financial Express, for inviting me here. Glad to be here. So nowadays, the flavor of the market is AI, right?
Right.
So whosoever is saying is something is there in AI. And it's required also. Because, see, in financial processes, if I see, we are using four data points and processes where number one, the data crunching activity has been streamlined with the AI, the total process. Now it is fully automated. No manual, minor intervention is there. Otherwise, it is fully automated. So crunching a lot of data where all the data points are aligned with the main system where the AI is there. So we are getting accurate data and from all the sources and matching it also. That's number one. Number two, forecasting. We are forecasting what could be the sales in future and what will be the cost and how the different components of cost over the time, as steel is a seasonal sector. All the input raw materials are also fluctuates in time, and so are the selling price. Okay. So the AI has stored the data for the last 10 years, and it could forecast that how the pricing would go, and in terms of raw material as well as in terms of the products. Okay. So that we are getting a good robust forecasting of how would our profit be there for 1 year, and the rolling forecast also. Okay. Third thing is GST reconciliation. GST, as it's a pain, whatever it is. So to a greater extent, AI has been able to reduce that pain, but because GST is such a painful exercise, the AI has also not been able to 100% do that. So some manual interventions are there. And the fourth is vendor reconciliation. These are the four things that we have been able to do this. So the processes could be aligned in the way as per our industry and how you could automate that and get data from various sources, and then you can authenticate that also. That's what AI is doing.
Okay, so those are some very efficient examples of AI and how I think most CFOs in the room are probably using AI in the same context. If I was to come to Amit, what is preventing CFOs from deploying AI and automation at scale? How do you overcome that?
I think, first of all, thank you, Financial Express, for inviting me here to sit in August panel and giving me an opportunity to express my views on this. I think there are few, and Raghupati has covered like what are the places where we as CFOs really see the use cases, and beyond that, I think there are a few barriers that prevent us to adopt new technology like AI. And one is definitely, all of us know, resistance to change, the complacency that comes into the system. And we, I think the time is changing, CFO's role is changing now, and it is no more just about stopping it because CFOs are being we all are being sitting in the driving seat now. So we need to see what is best for the company, and we need to remove this complacency or the resistance to change. So I think a very important trait that we should all adopt is the how do we do change management. Second is, I think integrated legacy systems. So integration of legacy system, this is also a big issue that we have seen in the past few years. I think a single source of truth is very much required, and we see a lot of data scattered here and there. We had seen very early adopters like Walmart had adopted centralized data lake and then adopted these kind of AI systems, because otherwise AI can really behave very erratic if they find different data sets. So I think that is the second problem. Like we all know, SBI is not able to fully take the benefits of the new technology because of the, a lot of banks are using COBOL and all, and they are not really compliant with the new technology. So I think and APIs and all are very helpful, but still the legacy systems are preventing. Third is regulations. We all think that regulations are, really somewhere coming in the way of implementing new technology, and actually regulations are becoming complementary nowadays. If you see, a lot of regulations are helping, like regulatory sandbox and all are helping in doing innovative, bringing innovative solutions to the clients, bringing innovative solutions to for the employees, for all the stakeholders. So I think regulation was the third thing. The fourth thing we all think, being finance enthusiasts, like ROI, return on investment, how much it will cost, and whether this cost is really justifying the kind of outcome or output that we intend to get. So I think I always say that whenever we look at return on investment, whenever we look at the cost, we should not look at it short term. It is always a tailwind. AI adaptability is tailwind if you look at the long-term cost and ROI. So somewhere I have heard instead of ROI, use LOF, leap of faith. So I think that was the fourth thing. And last but not the least, the complexity, which is very much related to the first point, complexity and talent shortage and all that. But I think the more we start adopting, as I said, CFOs are taking driving seat. Gone are the days when we were only looking at debits and credits and saying, okay, this is the bottom line that we are looking at. As we partner with the businesses in the growth and top line opportunities, we understand the importance of early adopting the technology, and then data says that about 60% of CFOs are planning to spend more than 20% of their budgets on new technology. So I think that is the takeaway that I would like to give.
I think Vishal is waiting to take on from what you just said, because you had a lot of points over there. How do you calculate ROI, and should I just take a leap of faith, and all of these things. I could just say Vishal waiting to pounce on that.
I'll meet you separately from Oracle and give you, and we'll end up doing some business. Yes.
So I mean, just to follow on with Amit's points. How reliable are AI-powered analytics? And some of the things he mentioned, there's still some pain points. Even Raghupati also mentioned that for GST and all of that, AI is also struggling. From your point of view, how reliable is it? And should he take a leap of faith, or should he be calculating ROI?
Yeah, it's a very important point, which is whether AI is reliable and whether we can depend on that. Yeah. Okay. Let's have a public poll first. How many of you really feel that we can rely on the data which is coming from the artificial intelligence, and we can actually go ahead and depend as far as our business decisions are concerned? So we are all here discussing about the business AI. Okay, so
show
how many of you feel that we should
who can depend on AI? Show of hands.
Yeah, there are quite good number of hands. That's
50%, that's it.
Artificial intelligence is like that new kid who is the most popular, is a rock star. Every forum you go, everyone is discussing about artificial intelligence, and it's really powerful tool. It's maturing. This is maturing. But there are few things which need to be taken care, because artificial intelligence data depends on what is the underlying data. Because it has both structured and unstructured data. So how And how are you managing that underlying data which is giving you certain analytics? That's the most important part for having reliable data or output coming out of it. Then which model you have configured. Okay, artificial intelligence has multiple models. Those models are configured as per the requirements and your need of the organization. So what is that model on which you are relying? That is a second thing. And last but not least is business need. Because you can depend on certain things which are very trend-based in terms of artificial intelligence. But there are always some innovations which has no trend. Okay, it is something which you are taking a business decision as an innovation. So what is the business requirement for which you like to depend? Otherwise, all the artificial intelligence models and tools which are there, algorithms which are there in the market, they're very good in analyzing the patterns. They are good in analyzing the trends from multiple years so that you can get structured and both unstructured. They can process volumes of data, which a human being cannot. Means huge amount of data can be processed and they can give you a predictable analysis. So last but not least, when it comes to the whether we can depend on that, I will say it's a hybrid thing. So while it's a complementary tool, I will say, for decision making, so you will get all those things on the basis of which you can take a decision. But the final decision, of course, will have a human element where you decide how much to go ahead and what are the things you will have to, decide on the basis of the data which is coming. So I'll say congratulations. AI will not replace us. There is an element of human there as far as the final decision making is concerned.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll come to that. I mean, yeah, the decision making is still with the humans, and I mean, I don't know if you all saw this little viral video recently where a robot in China, went and summoned a few other robots, and then they actually exited the building, So that's where AI is headed. So I don't know how long the decisions are going to be left with humans. That said, in some places, I would still want my decisions left with humans, especially in the banking area, because there's a lot of compliance and I want my money to be safe. And that's where I want to, bring in Sudhanshu here. You come from a very highly regulated sector, which is in banking. And I'm sure AI can help a lot with compliance. But what challenges do you face with AI in the compliance space?
Yeah, thank you for the question. And first of all, good morning, everyone. It's nice to have, thank you for inviting me, Financial Express. Before I straight away answer that question, maybe I would want to talk 2 bits on how do we see AI, because I come from a banking world, as you rightly said. We are dealing a plethora of data, right? A lot of customer insights coming through the transaction-based analysis. You can analyze trends, behaviors, and so on. So I think it from 2 facets. One is application of it in the finance function. Second is, as a CFO, we are very much responsible for driving the strategy, right? Today, there's a lot of buzzword. Of course, we were using predictive AI or the traditional AI. Today, there's a lot of buzzword, as we all know, around generative AI, right? The biggest advantage of that, which I see, is you can now sort of even extend your analysis to unstructured data, right? So there are many use cases as we see it. Of course, as a bank, we have also started piloting on some of these use cases. Just to give some examples, like we are, through the generative AI, we do analysis of various, say, collection-related calls or customer service calls. It senses the tonality of those calls, right? How should you respond, or what should you correct in terms of your processes, right, when you are sort of dealing with customers, right? Because as a bank, customer is also very much at the forefront. That's the philosophy which we have been driving through and through, right? So there are a lot of insights. Even if I extend some of these examples to the financial world, right, like there is a lot of competition benchmarking, or say you need to get some outputs from, say, an analyst reports, from various earnings transcript, right? And this is all unstructured data, right? But you need to tune your generative AI or that model in such a way that you are able to get content which is summarized and which makes you to make your decision making faster, right? So there are a lot of use cases. Of course, a proper operating model has to be put in place. As you all rightly said, there has to be human in the loop, right? I have also done some of the searches like on ChatGPT, right, where like one question which I did ask to the ChatGPT was how many retail shareholders Yes Bank has, right? And of course, I knew the number. The result which it showed was slightly outdated, right? So I feel that if we want to rely on some financials, external data, maybe still there has to be more vigil while you're using that data.
The quality of the data needs
For
to.
quality of data still is a question, but in terms of how you want to present it, right? Through a generative AI, what it is enriching is the visual experience, the design content, right? So I think that can be used in a significant way. That also leads to process efficiency and so on, right? Ultimately, it could lead to a cost reduction. So there are many use cases. Now, since you asked that, what are the challenges which could, again, banking is a very regulated sector. We all know that some of this data gets exposed to public cloud, right? So there is quite a possibility of that, and some of this data which you may be using for others may be copyrighted and something, right? So some of those legal sort of hazards do come into the process. You could be exposed to data breaches, right? So when we are implementing an AI, right, I'm saying the teams need to very closely work with the IT teams, with the security teams. As I again reiterate that the proper operating model, the right skill set has to be there. And so we should experiment in small use cases rather than sort of going full hog, right? So, it has to be a cautious way of implementation is what I would recommend.
Okay. Yeah.
Adding to what Sudhanshu has said, compliance, if you say, in India, it's mostly routine data. A lot of routine data you see monthly, quarterly and all. And transactions that you have entered, those are there. So what AI could do and is doing to a certain extent is that first they has to get the trigger that, because see, as a CFO, you have 110 different things to do.
Yeah.
So somebody has to be there who is compliant and the data is being put in the right portal at the right this thing within the due date, right? So, but as a CFO, it's your responsibility that it is being complied with.
Right.
So that allot that this is due and all, and then finally sensitive data, as Sudhanshu was saying also, you have to once go through those. So human intervention is there, but it creates the data at least at a 60, 70, 80% level, depending upon how you have done. And then you see the data and see that these are the fluctuations that I can see from here. If you could put a little more effort into this and get back where it is coming. Or there may be some structural changes are there or some new developments has happened. So that is there. And otherwise, manually and this thing, if you see, then you have to do it all over again. Here, 70, 80% data is at least there. Then you have to see the balance 20, 30% at least. So that is there. Plus, the human part of it has to be there. You see, day before yesterday, there was an accident. Somebody was going through this map.
Google
and
Maps
the car
went off the
and
bridge.
So that's why whenever we also go through Ola, Uber kind of, I see that you should apply your eyes and brains also, na? Not only that map. Correct, that's what we say. वहाँ क्या हुआ? यही तो हुआ. अगर वो देखता तो आगे दिख ही रहा था ना उसको. देखता तो human, you can't abandon your intelligence or your brain just because some tool is there. That is a tool at the best.
Exactly. So in fact, that is what I wanted to get at. While AI is there and AI can put all the data together for you and put your reports together for you, how do you know that that data is unbiased and can you eliminate that bias, right? Is it still necessary for probably like a human or a panel of humans to, take that final call and look at it? Because we have seen AI has improved over the last 3-4 years, but there is still some bias. And as Sudhanshu was also saying, there's old data, quality of data matters. You don't know what they're working with, right? So I'll just take Amit's perspective on this and then come to you, Vishal.
Yeah, so talking about bias, I think a very classic example that I want to talk about here is in 2018, Amazon has implemented a AI-powered hiring recruitment solution system and started kind of shortlisting resumes basis certain parameters and everything else based on the job role description and everything else. But where the bias comes in, and it's an interesting example, AI started shortlisting, preferring male candidates, unfortunately, for the higher levels. And probably AI would have looked at it, and all of us are fighting for equality, equity, and everything else. But AI did not know what is going on. AI just knew that at higher levels, probably men, there are more men sitting, and I think it is better if there is a trait which reflects men trait, they are preferring those kind of candidates than women. Like if some resume says I'm part of women club or something like that, they are ranking it lower. And then when Amazon really realized it, then they started tweaking it and making necessary changes and everything else. So obviously, a lot of places we need to also think through what is the accountability protocols. Who takes the responsibility of the AI related results? And especially it is very important when we are in a developing phase. When we know the use case and when we know, okay, it is time tried and tested is fine. But when we are we are at the cusp of this kind of revolution, and we need to know whether we are really using it in the right sense. So like for example, and Sudhanshu, you're saying, and Raghupati, if you ask today, do I drink coffee? Probably I will look at your data, historic data and everything, whether do you like coffee and all that, but it will not probably look at, what is the temperature right now in this room. So it's all about being real time. And I don't think ever AI will be able to make itself exactly real time like humans are. Another very funny example was with Erica, Bank of America's virtual assistant. This virtual assistant said once to his customer, the customer wanted to transfer some money, and she said that, okay, let's transfer the money to your ex's account. Then obviously, later on, when Bank of America realized it, they said that, okay, probably Erica is trying to help, but not in the way we intended. And they made it light situation. But at the same time, we needed to understand that it was becoming too friendly but it was not, it should not become friendly. They should just do as professional transaction. In transactions and all, you can't just say, okay, she's X, do you want to kind of transfer money and all that. So we need to draw a line where we need to use intelligence and where. So another example, and because this question is about how do we implement human intervention. When I was part of Aon, we implemented a tool called Trintech for the reconciliation between commission statement from insurers versus the kind of policy booking that we did. And it was supposed to kind of improve over the time, but we established clear accountability protocols and responsibility of how the errors will be managed if there is any error, and how this will keep on improving. If initially it was giving 50% match, then 60% or 65%, how it keeps on improving, how we keeps on improving our parameters so that the mismatches don't get as reported as match. So I think it is very important. Human intervention is important. Initially it will be higher, and over the period of time when it gets tried and tested, it will reduce. But obviously it will never disappear. So
yeah. Vishal, he made a lot of pertinent points.
I'll just touch upon the same question, but slightly different perspective. The point is that can we make this data accountable? Okay, can we make AI? What are the things which we should do for making AI accountable, as well as can we make it human biases can be eliminated? Okay, these are the two things. Yeah. So first thing is that, and we are talking in perspective of an enterprise AI. Let's because AI is such a big thing that entire world is under that. But let's stay with what is happening in an organization like you. So first of all, since we all know that it is both about structured, unstructured trends, as is mentioned, the trends may not be similar to what will happen in future, because there is a saying now, you cannot drive a car on the basis of rear mirror. So Those type of things are there, but how to implement it? It should be implemented like a project. It is not something which is just happening. Every organization will have to pick up their KPIs. What are the results they would like to get from the artificial intelligence projects? There should be an owner, there should be transparency, there should be accountability with people, there should be people who are taking the responsibility of developing, deploying, and monitoring. So once that is, the artificial intelligence is implemented like that in your organization, then it is a controlled thing, okay? It is a controlled thing. It is not something which is happening of its own, point number one. Second thing is elimination of human errors. Let me use, it is not the human intelligence, okay? I am only talking of what is that which can be eliminated. All the things which are really linked with certain rules, certain things which are statutory in nature, certain things which are related with trends, which are related with patterns, all those type of things can be. For example, let me take expense management. Since I'm from Oracle, Oracle expense management deducts what are the frauds which will happen, which are happening, whether this expense is the right expense and all those things. Why? Because there is a rule book. So you can always, there are a lot of elements, lot of business processes in your organization where artificial intelligence can be very, very useful, and it can eliminate human errors. I'm not saying human intelligence. You can do it. And that's what is actually accelerating this entire adoption in the world, because people want to work on the things which are more relevant to their business rather than just the mundane task and all those things. So expect those type of things to be eliminated over a period of time, which are very, very, rule-based, trend-based, pattern-based, and statutory in nature.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sudhanshu, earlier you were mentioning about, the exposure to the cloud, and, data being exposed to the cloud and all that. And that brings up an interesting part on data privacy, because when you want quality of data, you want real-time data. Real-time data coming in, you're getting your AI to train on that data. But with every little bit of technology, there is a risk. So how do you address these kind of things? How do you mitigate the risk here? Especially in the banking space.
No. So as I said, and there are like data privacy, and there are new laws also which are anticipated to sort of come in there, right?
The DPDP access.
On similar lines as what is prevalent in EU and so on. And the regulator, the RBI, right, is also quite paranoid around the customer data and so on, right? So I'm saying, and this has been there, and the need is getting accelerated, whether it means that if you're taking an Aadhaar, whether you need to encrypt the data and so on. So there are a lot of rules and regulations which are coming through. We all know that more and more customer data is getting shared. We are all flooded with calls and so on, right? So, and with generative AI, as I said, that if things are getting exposed, the risk maybe slightly increases further, right? So it has to be a much calibrated approach. As I said, the entire operating model to drive this is very important, right? Today, we lay a lot of emphasis on the tech part of it, but the process, the people, the skill set which is required to run through this, right? Your compliance team to be very much part of this journey, right? It can't be just a business-driven sort of strategy, right? So I'm saying all relevant stakeholders had to be made part of it. As long as you are using it internally, where it is within your ecosystem, right? In your data lakes and so on, yeah. I think still, as we all know, it helps to sort of take away the rote work, right? I'm saying the mundane task which AI can handle. There are many things we know we are already in play, right? We talk of RPA, right? That also is helping to sort of automate many of these processes. These all are additives, right? Generative AI I talked about. But the entire operating model is very important. I think that's why it's also sort of keeping us slightly in abeyance to go, as I said, full hog on it, right? So this is very important, and I'm sure down the line some regulations around the world also will come around this. So we have to take a very calibrated approach to all of this.
Right. And the other thing, I guess, which across the board is something that you'll be seeing in all your organizations is the skill sets. Do we have the skill sets to keep up with the innovation that's happening with AI right now, especially with the existing workforce that you have?
That is not much skill set are there, but it is getting acquired. So it's not a big deal.
Okay.
I don't think so. It's a big deal. People are learning it in the work.
But how do you see that affecting the workforce? Are there some tasks or some areas that can be replaced entirely by AI? And then what happens to that section of the organization?
Yes, it could be replaced mostly the data crunching part, where different tools were used for data crunching and all, but now data collation and data crunching, both the things, that could be replaced. But I don't think much impact are there because any such way we were using some or other softwares which we were using some, but now it's a little more faster and the volume of data and the type of result that we are getting is better that way. So if you ask me a leftist question, whether it will have impact on the workforce, you have to shed some workforce or other, I don't think much impact will be there.
Okay. And, Amit,
One more thing about, just to answer one, the accountability part is there. Whatever the accountability in terms of AI and all, as a CFO, the accountability lies here itself. Whatever tool you use, whatever you use, CFO is responsible for the data, period. No question asked. So you have to use your intelligence, your experience, and how you do with the data, because you know how operation it is, and whatever the data you are giving as far as compliance and all for different authorities, it should go from your eyes itself. You should have one look of it, and then it should go there. That's how CFO has to operate. Whatever you say, AI, this, that, data, etc., the responsibility lies with the CFO.
yeah, so Raghupati just said that AI cannot replace the CFO. So I think that'll be a huge sigh of relief in the room at least.
It's a very small tool. It's a very small tool in terms of the role the CFO plays.
Right.
So I think, to answer that question, we keep learning anyways. It's just whatever tool, whatever technology comes in, it's just keep getting upgraded. Like initially we were doing something on the books and pens and all that paper, and then Tally, we started using Tally, and all of us learned to use SAP, Oracle, and everything else. And then came robotic process automation to automatically pass the entries when you book a journal. So this is just evolving. There is no question of dearth of talent or anything. We just keep learning the new technologies. The basics remain same. The human intervention will never go away completely. Like Raghupati ji said, obviously CFOs cannot be replaced. But I think we keep learning, and these new technologies are just making our job easier, being more accurate. Two axes are there, right? One is that accuracy and efficiency, and the second axis is about stakeholder expectations on making the job easier, expecting more accumulated data accuracy and everything else. So I think these developments are helping us in that direction. Yeah.
Okay. If there are any questions in the audience, we can take maybe one or two questions. We have one gentleman there. Can we just get a mic to him? Yeah. And then one more here after that. We'll take that question first and then come to you.
Hi, good morning. This is Sanjay Panda. I am from a IT company and I am part of the ISACA body of Information Security Control Organizations. So my question is that, how the structured data, how delta amount of structured data you are maintaining in your organizations. Of course, in the banking organizations, more of like very governed organizations, so they are managing the data in a very structured way, because data is the oil to the AI. Now, the data gives you information, data gives you, after that knowledge, it gives you the product. And it also helps the banking industry to take the decision that what kind of products to be taken from the industry or within the organization, how to build the product. So apart from banking, other industry I would like to know how structured data is managed within the organizations.
You want to take that up?
Yeah, so first of all, the reality of any business is there was a stat which said that 93% of data which is available in any organization is unstructured. The simplest of them is emails. Okay, a lot of emails, videos, all those data which is there, which is available as a unstructured data in any organization. Structured is like ERP. You guys are all used to that ERP data, or probably some people call it Excel also as a structured data. We'll not call it. You know, the basic philosophy of implementation of any artificial intelligence in any organization lies with the models, the algorithms, the tools which are available. So, of course, in Oracle, those things are available. Same type of things are also available in the market. Okay, so first thing is that, okay, this is the structure, unstructured data which I want to bring along with the structured data for any type of analysis which I like to do. That's why I said that it has to be KPI driven. It is not a generic implementation. First of all, you should know what is the goals you want. For example, if you are suppose a retail company and you want to know the sentiments of people coming in your mall and then analyze that what type of products you will be able to sell it. Okay, that means lot of unstructured data coming in. You analyze, put those AI models, select that AI model, implement it, and once the results are there in front of you, of course, then you start building the decision making on that. So that's how it works. It is something which is a reality of today.
Right.
And it will, we are in an age where the biggest transformation, I will not say change, the people are saying changing, and it's a transformation. The biggest transformation we'll see in ourselves, the way we will be doing business, is how we are using that 93% of data. They would not be, I can tell you that everyone will know their customer much better before they meet. So those type of things will be there. Of course, we are all helping, the technology vendors are helping by giving those models to convert everything into very readable and understandable formats.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Thank you.
One question here from the center. Yeah.
Yeah, so Akhil from Tata. Basically, the question is like this, scalability. So when we talk about AI, I mean, definitely it helps in scalability, and but there are use cases, like current use cases, Asian Paints. So even a supercomputer can get tired at one point in measuring the right predictive analysis, right forecast and all. And basically it's all about how the inputs are. So, I mean, whatever the reasons are for them, it is applicable to everyone. So how this kind of thing we as CFOs tackle or handle, and there are checks and balances on this tech and AI thing with respect to basically the forecasting.
If I've understood your question, what you are asking is that how, first of all, since there will be so much of data, so how data will be managed, if I've understood you correctly. Then second is that, okay, if data will be so huge, then how you will scale? Because we are not talking of 93, 94% of the data, which is not in systems at this point of time. It is there, but it is not analyzed, correct? So how that scalability will be there? And third is that, can we go ahead and do forecasting on the basis of that? First of all, I would like to check whether I have understood your question correctly. See, I can tell you in industry today, and I'm talking from perspective of all the hyperscalers, and storage is the easiest thing. Today, we carry a pen drive with 1 terabyte in our pocket. Okay, let me be, and storage is the easiest problem which is getting addressed at this point of time. The point is that how much of that unstructured data will be used as a, so it will never be 100%. Of course, it is not that every junk will go into your systems. That's why these software algorithm AI models, inside, everything is required, correct? Otherwise, it was just the data. So data is the, now coming to the forecasting, forecasting will always be on the basis of trends and patterns. Anything, for example, if you are saying that, okay, let me take an example of Oracle EPM solution, which can project that what should be your budget, what should be your cash flow, what should be your expenses. But that will be on the basis of how you have been doing over a period of time and what is the growth you are projecting. This is something it will collect and give you. Of course, there will be again a decision-making points. For example, there may be some triggers. Say, there may be some maybe joint ventures which are expected to happen. So those things will change it. But anything which has to do with a trend, expect that to happen in AI. And it is one of the most maturing thing. It is maturing much faster than what we all even expect. Kunal was saying about 50 AI things, use cases. Every quarter are getting released in a product like Oracle, and there are so many competitors also. So things are maturing pretty fast. You can expect that actually.
Right.
Thank
so
you.
Can we just take that offline because we are out of time right now? One question. Okay, he also has one question as well. So can we'll just meet outside after this? We'll just take it offline. And I mean, with this panel, I think some very interesting insights have come about. I mean, the only constant, as they say, is change, and AI is here and it's changing every day. It's improving every day. So I guess when you say tech and AI and financial processes, is it the need of the hour? No, it's already there in the process already. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me on this panel. Thank you.